Language plays a powerful role in emotional safety because the human brain is constantly scanning communication for signals of comfort or threat. The words we choose, the tone behind them, and the intention they carry all influence how safe another person feels in our presence. Emotional safety is not created through grand gestures but through consistent, respectful communication that reassures the nervous system. When someone feels emotionally safe, their mind becomes more open, receptive, and trusting, which naturally strengthens attraction in a healthy and sustainable way. From a psychological and health-based perspective, words directly interact with the brain's emotional centers. Positive, affirming language can calm the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for detecting danger. When this area is relaxed, the body reduces stress hormones like cortisol and allows bonding hormones such as oxytocin to increase. This shift creates feelings of closeness, warmth, and trust. On the other hand, careless, dismissive, or aggressive language can trigger emotional defenses, making connection difficult regardless of physical attraction. Trust develops when language is predictable, respectful, and sincere. Consistent verbal reassurance, such as acknowledging feelings, listening without judgment, and responding thoughtfully, signals emotional reliability. Over time, the brain associates that voice and choice of words with safety. This association is critical in attraction because people are naturally drawn to those who make them feel calm, understood, and emotionally grounded rather than anxious or uncertain. Emotional bonding is also strengthened through personalized language. Using someone's name, gentle nicknames, or affirming phrases creates a sense of being seen as an individual. This recognition satisfies a basic psychological need for belonging. When people feel recognized and valued through words, their emotional investment increases and attraction grows without pressure or manipulation. The bond becomes rooted in mutual respect rather than external validation. Healthy language also sets boundaries, which further enhances emotional safety. Clear, kind communication about needs and limits prevents confusion and emotional harm. When boundaries are expressed respectfully, they build trust rather than distance. People feel safer when they know where they stand and what to expect, and this clarity allows emotional connection to deepen naturally. In essence, attraction thrives where emotional safety exists. Words are not just sounds, they are signals to the brain and body about whether a connection is supportive or risky. When language is used thoughtfully, it nurtures trust, lowers emotional stress, and creates a foundation for genuine bonding. This is why emotionally intelligent communication is one of the most powerful yet overlooked factors in healthy attraction. Nicknames have a subtle yet powerful effect on brain chemistry because they carry emotional meaning beyond their literal words. When gentle and affectionate language is used, the brain interprets it as a sign of acceptance and closeness. This interpretation triggers the release of neurotransmitters such as dopamine and oxytocin, both of which play a central role in emotional connection and attachment. These chemical responses are not accidental. They are part of the brain's natural bonding system, designed to strengthen healthy social relationships. Dopamine is often associated with pleasure, motivation, and reward. When a person hears a nickname that feels warm, personal, and sincere, the brain experiences a small but meaningful reward response. This creates positive emotional associations with the person using the nickname. Over time, the brain begins to anticipate these pleasant feelings, increasing emotional interest and attraction. This is why consistent positive language can make interactions feel uplifting and emotionally energizing without requiring dramatic gestures. Oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone, deepens feelings of trust and emotional security. Gentle nicknames can stimulate oxytocin release because they signal familiarity, care, and emotional closeness. From a health perspective, oxytocin reduces stress levels, lowers anxiety, and increases a sense of calm connection. When someone feels emotionally soothed in another person's presence, attachment forms naturally rather than through pressure or dependency. The effectiveness of nicknames depends heavily on context and authenticity. The brain is highly sensitive to intention. If affectionate language is forced, rushed, or misaligned with the emotional stage of the relationship, it can trigger discomfort instead of bonding. In such cases, stress hormones may rise rather than bonding hormones. This highlights the importance of emotional awareness and timing. Healthy attachment grows when language matches the level of mutual trust and respect already present. Nicknames also create a sense of exclusivity, which the brain interprets as social closeness. Being addressed in a unique or personal way reinforces the feeling of being emotionally significant. This sense of being chosen strengthens attachment pathways in the brain, enhancing emotional investment and perceived connection. However, this effect remains healthy only when it supports mutual respect rather than control or possessiveness. From a psychological health standpoint, affectionate language works best when it complements actions. The brain evaluates consistency between words and behavior. When kind language is supported by respectful actions, the bonding chemicals released feel safe and stable. When there is inconsistency, the brain becomes cautious, reducing trust and emotional openness. In summary, nicknames influence brain chemistry because they communicate emotional signals that the nervous system responds to instantly. When used gently, sincerely, and appropriately, affectionate language activates dopamine and oxytocin, reinforcing connection, comfort, and attachment. This process explains why small words, spoken with care, can have a lasting emotional impact and strengthen attraction in a healthy, emotionally intelligent way. Context and consent are essential because the brain does not respond to words in isolation. It responds to meaning, timing, and emotional safety. A nickname that feels warm and attractive in one moment can feel intrusive or uncomfortable in another. This is because the mind constantly evaluates whether an interaction respects personal boundaries. When language aligns with mutual respect and emotional readiness, it strengthens connection. When it does not, it can trigger emotional resistance and stress. Emotional readiness develops gradually through shared experiences, trust, and consistent behavior. In early interactions, the brain is more cautious, prioritizing safety over bonding. Introducing affectionate language too soon can activate uncertainty rather than attraction. From a psychological health perspective, this uncertainty raises stress hormones and lowers openness. When a nickname is introduced at the right time, however, it feels natural and affirming, reinforcing emotional closeness instead of creating pressure. Consent in communication is not always verbal, but it is always perceptible. The brain picks up on tone, facial expression, and response. If a nickname is received with ease, warmth, or reciprocation, it signals acceptance. If it is met with silence, discomfort, or withdrawal, the nervous system is communicating a boundary. Respecting these cues is crucial for healthy interaction. Ignoring them can erode trust and emotional safety, even if the intention was affectionate. Mutual respect ensures that nicknames enhance connection rather than diminish individuality. Respectful language honors the other person's comfort, preferences, and sense of identity. When someone feels respected, their emotional defenses lower, making attraction more likely to grow. Conversely, language that feels dismissive, patronizing, or overly familiar can damage emotional trust and create distance. Healthy attraction thrives in environments where both individuals feel valued and emotionally secure. Timing also plays a critical role in how the brain interprets affectionate language. The same nickname can feel comforting after trust is established and uncomfortable if used prematurely or in inappropriate settings. The nervous system associates emotional closeness with safety when it develops gradually. Rushing emotional intimacy through language can feel overwhelming, leading the brain to protect itself by withdrawing emotionally. From a health-based communication standpoint, alignment between emotional readiness and language supports stable attachment. When people feel emotionally prepared, affectionate words reinforce positive emotional states and bonding hormones. When they are not, those same words can feel invasive. This is why emotional intelligence is key in attraction. Being aware of the other person's emotional state and responding accordingly demonstrates maturity and care, which are highly attractive qualities. In essence, a nickname is not powerful because of the word itself, but because of the respect and awareness behind it. Context and consent transform simple language into meaningful connection. When affectionate words are used with patience, sensitivity, and genuine regard for emotional boundaries, They deepen trust and attraction in a healthy and sustainable way. Healthy attraction is rooted in emotional connection rather than manipulation because the human brain is designed to respond to safety, sincerity, and mutual respect. Manipulative language attempts to force emotional reactions, often creating short-term interest but long-term discomfort. In contrast, emotionally healthy attraction develops when communication supports openness, comfort, and trust. Nicknames, when used correctly, function as expressions of warmth and closeness, not as tools to control feelings or behavior. From a psychological health perspective, manipulation triggers the brain's threat response. When someone senses pressure, hidden intent, or emotional coercion, the nervous system becomes alert. Stress hormones increase, emotional defenses rise, and genuine connection becomes difficult. Even if attraction appears to increase temporarily, it is often driven by anxiety, rather than true emotional bonding. Healthy attraction avoids this pattern by allowing feelings to develop naturally without urgency or obligation. Warm, affectionate nicknames work because they signal care without expectation. They do not demand attention, affection, or validation in return. Instead, they offer emotional presence. This absence of pressure allows the other person to feel free, respected, and emotionally autonomous. Psychological research consistently shows that autonomy and emotional safety are major contributors to long-lasting attraction and attachment. Control-based communication often disguises itself as affection but carries underlying conditions. Phrases that imply ownership, guilt, or obligation can slowly erode emotional trust. Healthy nicknames do the opposite. They acknowledge connection while honoring individuality. When someone feels seen but not confined, attraction strengthens because the relationship feels emotionally nourishing rather than draining. Another important element of healthy attraction is consistency between language and behavior. Manipulative communication often relies on words that are not supported by actions, creating confusion and emotional imbalance. The brain detects this inconsistency and responds with caution. In healthy dynamics, affectionate language aligns with respectful behavior, reinforcing trust. When words and actions match, emotional closeness feels safe and genuine. Emotional maturity plays a key role in how nicknames are used. Mature communication recognizes that attraction cannot be rushed or engineered. It grows through shared emotional experiences, empathy, and mutual understanding. Nicknames in this context are simply reflections of existing closeness, not attempts to manufacture it. This distinction is crucial for emotional health and relationship stability. Ultimately, healthy attraction is not about triggering reactions but about nurturing connection. Nicknames become meaningful when they are rooted in kindness, patience, and emotional awareness. They support closeness without pressure and warmth without control. When attraction is built on emotional safety rather than manipulation, it creates space for trust, respect, and genuine attachment to grow naturally.